I've got some other areas where we deal in three parts, and you've got the spiritual, the mental, and the physical.
Right.
And I thought that was really interesting, and your foundation and what it does.
Yeah, because we believe being a total person.
Right.
You see a lot of times guys physically are just unbelievably gifted, but the other parts of their life create problems in what they're doing. So I've always been a firm believer in that back to 1978, my sophomore year at USC, and really tried hard to work on all three. So.
Well, it's amazing because I understand, as you know, in your career, there were a lot of people that felt that being taken so early in the NFL draft, with your history of, and forgive me if I'm not trying to step on it, with your history of injury
right,
at USC,
exactly, yeah.
They felt that it was a risky move, and we're soon and quickly shown otherwise. But they attribute that, and you attribute it to your regimen of working out and running.
Right.
Are you still running 3 or 4 miles a day?
Well, actually stopped jogging 2 years ago. I was still for a good 14, 15 years. I was 5 to 6 mile a day guy jogging here in the off season, or actually in my post playing career. But I just, I'm always looking for different workouts, and for the last year I've been in another workout, so it's working actually better than jogging. So I'm glad I found it at my age. But that was something that. You're right, going back to the injury factor. I mean, anybody that's gone through 3 knee operations in 4 years, and let alone 3, but then playing 1 game his senior year, and all of a sudden you're drafted 3rd pick in the overall draft. I mean, they must have been looking at the Bengals saying, what are these people on? Taking a guy that's played half his games at USC
right,
and taking him
right.
with the 1st pick. So incentive. I mean, it was incentive for me. It was, again, after I had that 3rd knee operation my senior year and I rehabbed and played in the Rose Bowl, I just wanted to go to a camp. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to be drafted, if it would be a free agent thing. I just wanted a chance, because I just wanted to know for myself, if it was 1 year, if I could play on that level. And all of a sudden, draft day rolls around, and speculations were 1st round, they're not getting drafted because of the previous projection before that year. And all of a sudden, 3 picks into it, the Bengals are calling me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, my wife and I, we've been married about 2.5 years. And for a guy that's close to 300 pounds, just balling because I'm getting a chance to go
right,
with the 3rd
right.
pick. I said, here it is, Lord, I mean, you've allowed me to come back and play this final game after rehabbing like a madman.
Right.
Just keep it up. And that was my regiment during my playing days. I mean, I wouldn't take any time off after the last game because I felt I built the condition up so high during the season, because I ran even 2 or 3 times during the season distance. And I just felt that was my advantage against other players. And it's carried over into my retired life, and I feel great.
So what is your new regimen? You said you found something new. Are you in Tai Chi or Pilates?
No, it's P90X.
P90X, never heard of it.
It's a muscle confusion workout. It's 6 day a week. I go 7 day a week. I've been doubling up on it. It's really a combination. It's back and chest, it's legs, it's a day of yoga, it's plyometrics, it's Kempo, it's stretching, and I love it because it's a different workout every day, and I'm like close to a year into it. The good thing is when I hit the road, there's certain pieces of equipment you need, but I just bring all the cardio ones when I travel because I'm not gone that long.
Right.
And as long as my room's big enough, I have my DVD player. I've been getting an hour and a half workout on the road with that. And my body feels great. And the good thing is I've always been, even for a big lineman, I've always been one when I get my physical, I always want to know my blood pressure. I always want to know my numbers. And after, it's a 3-month program is what it is, but I've continued to do it. After the first 3 months, my numbers were just unbelievably low.
Wow, great.
Cholesterol, and the doc said, keep doing whatever you're doing.
Had you had high numbers?
No, really the only number that was high was when I went into college, my blood pressure. But everything has always been, with the family background of diabetes and some cancer, I'm always looking at that sugar number.
Sure,
and,
sure.
It even went down from this workout, and I'm one of 6 in our family, 5 siblings, and my mom,
right.
One of 2 that doesn't have diabetes. So I really want to just keep doing what I can to stay away from that. So.
Well, we'd like to probably talk to you some more about that too, just because I think it's very important. And we're just going to go with this.
That's great.
I think it's important. We have a history of heart disease in our family. And some diabetes. My grandmother passed away of congestive heart failure. Mm-hmm. My dad had a triple bypass. My grandmother had a quintuple bypass.
Wow.
And so I changed my diet. I don't work out like I should. I certainly, I have a couple. We have a couple things in common: the baseball, basketball, football, sports.
Right.
But certainly not at your level. And I was also the fun thing was I was not allowed to play Pop Warner football either, or they didn't let me play because I was too small, not because I was too big.
Too small, yeah.
You know, but who the heck tells you can't play Pop Warner?
Exactly, you know, and it wasn't like it was, you know, crushing for me because I was playing baseball and basketball. And quite frankly, if I had played Pop Warner football, would I have been able to be a quarterback like I was in flag football? Because that was my dream, was to be a quarterback.
Really?
So from 3rd grade to 8th grade, playing flag football, I was a quarterback because that's all I ever played, sandlot quarterback. I was a third baseman pitcher, so it wasn't my speed,
right,
but it was my arm. And so when I get to high school as a freshman, all the guys that have been my wide receivers are there, and I'm like, okay, I'll keep throwing to these guys. So I go out the first day, and I got a 2-bar face mask. So they say, okay, they start, you know, splitting us up by position. I run over the quarterbacks, and the coach looks at me and goes, what are you doing here? I said, well, I'm ready to play quarterback. And they said, no. First of all, you got to go see the equipment manager. He's got to change that face mask. He goes, linemen don't wear that face mask. I said, I'm not a lineman. I'm a quarterback. Second day, I was a lineman. And, you know, but, you know, after the first couple of days of practice, I said, this is fun hitting people. So, yeah, I wanted to be a quarterback.
Well, did you ever think you'd end up being a receiver?
I didn't, you know, especially with how they wanted. I had 7 catches and 4 touchdowns. I never thought that would happen, but it took a guy like Sam Weiss, who was a great offensive mind, to put us at the tight end position, and then to design plays for us to catch them. I was like, okay, this is fun.
What is it like playing at that level? And let's go back, maybe if you can recant your very first game in the NFL. We saw Invincible. Where he comes out of the restroom. He's obviously kind of a bit shaken. He comes out throwing up, and so does the coach at the time, which was the great coach that played for Philadelphia. I mean, that coached Philadelphia.
Vermeil? Is it Dick
Vermeil?
Yeah.
And what's it like playing in your very first, not even a preseason game, but a real game?
Right. It for me it was unbelievable because. You get in the NFL and you know you're going to play against the best.
Right.
But when you open up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who might not have been a great team at that time, but you look across the line of scrimmage and there's number 63, Leroy Selman, okay, you're going to say, okay, I'm starting all over again. And for me, I didn't have the sickness, the nervous, but you know, you got the nerves. But more than anything, just the excitement of, you know, I'm just a competitor. And for me, it was really not an overload of nervousness as it was an overload of just adrenaline and excitement to play. And that's the approach I always had. And, you know, it was one of those things where you look around and like you said, preseason is, I mean, it's still an NFL game, but now you know they count.
Right.
And this is it.
Right.
I mean, you've worked all off season. You've made the team. It's kind of like the first time you run in the locker room and you're on the traveling squad in college. Well, now, you know, they announced the 50-plus man roster and you're on it. And even though, you know, people say, well, you're a number 1 pick, you know, you had a guaranteed spot. I just never really thought that way. Never thought that way. Thought I still had to earn everything. So when I was, you know, named the starter and starting that first game, it was like, well, now it's time to produce.